In this video, I want to talk about creativity, how you can become more creative. First of all, I think you need to realize that none of us actually create the idea which comes to us. The ideas are out there in what you might call universal mind. They are there for everyone. This is my hypothesis on it anyway. Everything has already been created. There is nothing new and nothing new that we can create. All we can do is open ourselves up to what already exists. And how do we do this? We do it by a number of things. First of all, we take an interest in a particular subject or subjects. We immerse ourselves in it, perhaps by reading about it, experiencing it in real life situations, but most of all, being open to ideas which come through us. Through us because we're willing enough to allow them to come through. And how do they come through? Not when we're thinking about them. They come through in those gaps between thinking. So the more quiet our mind is, the more chance we've got of having an idea and capturing that idea. Once the idea occurs, we encourage it more by taking immediate action, perhaps jotting down the idea while it's still fresh. If we don't do that, the idea will probably go back into what you might call the universal field. It still exists, but we've lost it. A bit like a fish nibbling on a line, and we forgot to hook it, and it slipped off and it's gone. Hasn't gone far. If we still take an interest in that subject matter, another idea with the same sort of species will hook onto that attraction that we're pulling to ourselves. I think we are vain indeed if we think we actually create the idea itself. There's often been a lot of arguments about, you stole my idea. Way back around about the 1920s, there was a fellow called Heaviside and another fellow called Kennelly. They were studying radio. They both came up with something to do with the radio spectrum and, of course, what you might call the ionospheric predictions and so forth. And they had an area named after them. They now call it the Appleton, is it? Kennelly Heaviside, the Kennelly Heaviside layer or something like that. There was big arguments about who came up with it. You pinched my idea. No, they didn't. The idea was out there waiting to be discovered. The time was right for it. This was the early days of radio communication. And of course, lots of discoveries were being made. At the moment, a lot of discoveries are being made in the field of battery technology. The ideas keep popping up because people are searching for answers and staying open to anything that occurs to them. If an idea occurs, take it down. Then do the experiments. Then write it off. Remember, didn't they, the expression, they laughed at Edison because of all the hundreds and hundreds of experiments he did before he finally found the right filament and the right globe. It's the same with everything. It's the same with you. If we want to be more creative, we need to remain open to those ideas. When they present themselves, jot them down. Make a note. Do it as soon as you can. Otherwise, the idea will slip away. When I first started making these videos, about 8 years ago, I had no idea I'd be able to make so many. I didn't particularly see myself as being creative, but I kept at it. And I look at my latest statistics and I find that I've made 1,035 talking head videos on the subject of public speaking and storytelling. 1,035. That is a lot. Sure, I've repeated myself a lot of times. Sure, there's been a lot of paraphrasing along the same subject matter. But each time it's just a little bit different. And I think that because I've done that, I've learned certainly more about it myself, and hopefully a lot of people who watch these videos have learned a lot more too. That's the whole idea. My idea is to share the creativity that comes through me to you. And this video I'm making now, I'm hoping that I can encourage you to become more creative. A little while ago, about 2.5 years ago, I started doing videos on retirements. But before that, I was doing them on various philosophical questions and subject matter, and I've done 1,048 of those. So in total, 2,083 talking head videos. Where do I get the ideas from? I read about certain things I'm interested in. I always carry a notebook or some paper and pen near my bed. If I'm walking down the street, an idea comes to me, I stop and I jot it in the notebook straight away. When I come home, I write it on a piece of paper, or perhaps pull out the notebook and make a video straight away. I mightn't place the video straight away. I'll play it back to myself to see if it's any good, and if it is, I'll put it out there for people like you to look at. So let us just reiterate a bit. Creativity. We don't create anything. What we do is draw the creativity, the creative thought to us. It comes through us. And remember, as Thomas Carlyle said, that man is most original who can create from the greatest number of resources, which means the wider your spectrum of interests, the more likely you are to come up with something original. Original to you, seemingly original to you. It already exists somewhere, but because of your interest, it comes through you. Once it arrives into consciousness, take action. Record it in some way. And then after that, if you can, give it to the world as I'm doing now. Stay open, stay willing. And never say I'm not a creative person. If you say that, what will happen? Your subconscious mind will say, yes, that's right. And you won't get much creativity happening. Always say that you're a creative person. Always be positive. And by simply saying these words, I am, and adding nothing behind it, you're opening yourself up to all manner of creative changes in your life. I hope you got something out of this one.